are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of Eugene S. Show Stomper! Welcome, my friends. The show that simply ends. Version 419. You just dropped the Show Stomper. And hold on, let me fix this mouthpiece. Yeah, my cheek seems to be back to normal. But I hate to say I said it was coming, but it's coming. And by which I mean the first major fuck-up of the White House Media show happened minutes ago. Thank you, Canadian press. But first, let Bob Riley sing us in as he has every single week. He has the one I'm turning. Every single week since 2007, the Stigmata intro, all or nothing from the calling of the just. Still available through Revelation Records in Island Beach, California. They switch the deck of a nightclub, they hit your car with a hammer, and they run your mayor Poatan out of town on a rail to open up for some standard restaurant in Central Florida that will inevitably gonna pregame this one for y'all. But the words that started all off. Listen well.
I'm on my way back nowhere. I took my time,
but I could not see to there. I'm taking real look at you. I'm taking real good look at your face.
I'm on my way back there, boy.
So we have way back. Cut, my friends. All right, so here we are, 419. Now, I don't know if you're double dipping on watching If the Shoes Fit last night, but the person who was misty as fuck for me was Bari Weiss, and I think I just sent her a message on the Twitter machine, never X for me, always Twitter, that said, "You suck." Actually, I said, "She sucks," and then I added her. Because, I hate these wunderkinds who are not wunderkinds at all. Everybody's complaining about DEI. You take one of the least qualified people and give them a big job just to wait and see what happens. Oh, disruption. It's about breaking things apart just to see what happens. Yeah, well, I'm on my way back from nowhere. And I just envy body. I had to fight like a dog in the streets for every single job I had. And of course, as you well know, I got my start in publishing. I mean, I've been in publishing since I was 14, but I got my first serious job post-college because of Germans from Argentina. The Braun brothers, Cedric and, oh my God, I can't remember the other guy's name. Cedric Braun and Braun, and I can't remember the other one's name. Spoke German and Spanish. And I made a joke about it once, as I would with the Nazi thing. Take a drink. But they absolutely did not laugh. Not even like, yeah, not. I said, I have to escape Nazis. And I was like, I need to trod lightly on that one. I want to keep this job. Anyway. So I've been dealing with wunderkinds in various stripes for many years. They brought me in as an assistant editor. I did everything on Defense Electronics Magazine, which is what they moved me to. I had been on Microwave Systems News, everything, all the grunt shit work. I mean, I was an assistant editor. That's the job. And there's a new guy. He's going to help you with all this shit. And I forget his name because, I was angry with him, but it wasn't his fault. And he came in, surveyed the scene and was like, I'm not doing that. They got themselves a stooge. Let him keep doing that. And so, like, what he did was he came in, ignored all the stupid shit that I was doing. That I figured, like, seniority, I'll take this and I'll give it to you. He's like, nah. He starts. I think I'm going to do an article. And I was like, oh, I could have had a V8. I want to do an article too. So we started doing articles, but because he had done it first, They just assumed he was giving the articles. I had to fight like a dog for that, just to keep from doing the grunt shit. They do this in Hollywood. A friend of mine goes to USC, gets a degree at USC, starts as a receptionist at Fox. 2 years later, somebody goes, "Oh shit, I could have had a V8." They go, we don't hire people with masters from the film program at the USC to be receptionists here. She says, "What are you talking about? We start everybody low in the mailroom, and then you work your way up. 2 years as a receptionist. Is this what you want?" And so she goes, "Oh, no, 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 it's okay." So they put her on Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles to write, but she can't handle the writer's room, so she quits the fucking job. This is what the guy I knew from Disney meant when he said, "Eugene, you don't want to write for films." I go, "Why? And he goes, "Oh, wouldn't like the writers." I go, "No, I'm a collaborative guy. I could do it." He goes, "Well, then you wouldn't like the money." I go, "Well, what do they pay for something like this?" He goes, "Well, $3,000 a week." What? $3,000 a week? At the time, that was good money for me. He was like, "No, Eugene, I prefer you. I prefer you in your natural state." And when the worm turned on that guy, he had his wife contact me. She said, "Hey, maybe you could help him out." He wrote a film that almost destroyed a film studio. So maybe you could help him. And this is when I had Skull Game. I was like, "Can't Donna let me on my own show. Let me enjoy this moment." She said, "Maybe you could give him something out of your employees not. Maybe you could." This is the guy who denied me $3,000 a week because he wanted me. He preferred me in my natural state of poverty, pobreza. Yeah. Now I didn't need a security clearance for that. And the funny thing about that is, I would make up shit. Just These were the days when they would say stuff in meetings with Reagan about stuff that violated the laws of thermodynamics, and roomfuls of PhDs would go, because they were cutting big giant checks. If you wanted to build brilliant pebbles that shoot out missiles, sure, or whatever. Things that violate the sure. So she said, "Could you help him?" And this is when I had Skull Game in full flow. If you remember, Skull Game was like the Onion for porn. And I go, "I'll tell you what, just to show you my heart's in the right place, I'll be glad to have him do reviews for me. I'll send you 10 or 20 pieces of porn, and he can take the porn after he watches it and reviews it and resell it. He can make money that way. 20 a box, 10. That should keep things afloat for a while." And yeah. She was like, "Okay." He's like, how am I supposed to help this guy? Guy, do that to me. So last night on If the Shoes Fit, I said that Bari Weiss, I was glad to see her. She still had some other problem today that I retweeted. Oh, somebody else quit at CBS News. It's a fucking dumpster fire, and the clock is on. If she's not gone by next week, I'll be very, very surprised. She's going to find other opportunities and things to do, maybe. So I said last night on the If the Shoes Fit, I said, "Look, this is a minefield. This UFC 250 freedom bullshit is a minefield. It is a minefield of magnificent proportion, but it's one of those ones that you got to take." For example, when I was at Mac Life magazine, ISIS came in and said, "Take Oxbow on tour, once in a lifetime deal," but there was a catch. And the catch is, you got to go for the whole 6-week tour. You can't just parcel it out because you guys got jobs. So the guys who had really serious jobs were like, "We can't do it. We can do 4. And I said, "Would you accept the acoustic duo for weeks 5 and 6? And they said, "Yes." Week 1 at the beginning, and then the last. And so I took it off. I took my 3 weeks vacation time, and I took 3 weeks personal leave. I was writing from the road the entire time, doing cover stories. But there was a woman on the staff whose last name was Dick, who started complaining. Unbidden. Well, why does he get to do it? Well, I suggest you start a band 30, 38-year-old band, and you can go on tour too. But why are you fucking shaking my hustle? So I get back off this tour, and they say, "Look, Eugene, you can't do it again. You can't. This is it's causing interstaff conflict. Yeah, you did write a lot of stories from the road, but this is not the kind of office we have." Okay, and I lied. It's not so much I lied to say shit that didn't come true, because I knew at the time that HarperCollins, the fight book was coming out in 2007, and I was going to tour on it. It's a once in a lifetime deal. You got to do it. And so I go in, I said, "Look, I got you, man. Actually, the thing I said yesterday, I can't do it. I got to go. So I'll unburden you. You brought me in to start the adventure sports division, and this is when I pitched a magazine to the UFC and the Bald One, sat in the office with Jennifer Wang, and they were like, how many millions of dollars are you going to give us?" We go, "We're doing this for Sony, PlayStation. They pay us. You don't." They go, "Well, okay, bye-bye. Ciao, ciao, out." So, so, so I get fucked out of a job because of this person whose last name is Dick. Years later, years later, the person, Dick, buys a fancy car and gets laid off and says to Kasha, "Hey," who actually happened to work in the same company, Future Publishing. Later, I got her a gig there. And Dick found out that we were connected. "Hey, Eugene seems to be really healthily employed. Do you think he could?" Kasha laughed in her face and said, "You should email him." And there was enough of a warning in her tone where the woman named Dick never did. But I was laying in wait. Eh? So these Bari Weiss people, I laying in wait. I can't wait to. But I did say something about the UFC Freedom 250, and I said it's a minefield. It is an absolute fucking minefield. It's an opportunity that you have to take. Like I had to take that book tour. You had to take it. But there are so many things that could go wrong. The weather, the structure. There could be a fight in the parking lot. Somebody gets shot. So all of a sudden, this thing, the convergence that the presidential maniac was hoping for, that the Iranians would go along with the deal. Of course, they didn't go along with the deal that he's been promising for weeks and weeks and weeks, thinking he can manifest it by saying it is so, like Dr. Pangloss on Candide's Voltaire. If Dr. Pangloss says it is so, it must be so. This is what they're hoping. He just keeps saying it, and eventually, like a broken clock, he's got to be right sometime, right? But of course, he's obsessed with this Obama thing, so he's obsessed that his deal is better than Obama's, and that's never going to fucking happen. So, but it's a minefield. And I said, the only way this fight works out is if it's saved by the fighters. If you have 7 decisions, not saved by the fighters. If Sean Strickland shows up and there's a shooting in the parking lot, not saved by. I'm not saying Sean Strickland shows up and there's a shooting. He can show up, but there's the celebrities that are going to attend have bailed. I guess Adam Sandler is showing up because if you make 25 mil a movie, who gives a fuck what you do? But if that's not been confirmed, and because I think the fight happens soon, it could be starting right now. I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. The structure could collapse. There could be lightning thunderstorms. There could be, the bug. I mean, all of the things that everybody said. If you've never spent the summers in Maryland, DC, which I have, traffic is going to be beastly. It's going to be horrifying. But I said, the fighters could actually save this. They could, the ones that benefit, they're bumping up the bonuses for this and helping these guys. The universal sign for fucking jerking off. You're not fooling anybody with this. However, if the fighters pull out and they're exciting fights, it will eclipse anything else anybody has to say about it, and that's understandable. But minutes before the show started, what happens? And this actually breaks my heart a little bit because I really like this guy, Poatan. Multiple allegations of fucking sexual, domestic violence shit. But the creepy kind, like kidnapping, like where you're not letting the woman leave, recording, putting listening devices and air tags on her shit. And it's like, what is that great line from Sir Mix-a-Lot, who passes out on Broadway? If you don't have the game, then let her leave your world. I had one girlfriend, actually, the one who went to USC, who we had a kind of a fraught thing like that, and 5 years. And I cringe. I cringe at the things that were said, and I hope to God that she's got early onset dementia and forgets. I mean, it was like the starter relationship. You go from furtive sexual encounter after furtive sexual encounter, or during the disco days, disgusting sexual encounter, and then like, so man, what I needed a relationship. And then you get a relationship. You go, oh, okay, this is where I could like figure shit out, how to relate to other humans. And it didn't help that she was a liar. so, so that didn't help at all. That did not. It was a liar, and that. But I mean, did she lie about things of consequence? No, 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 no. She did lie. She did lie. You lie to protect yourself, to make yourself look better, or to avoid harm or embarrassment. And these were all tracked. And it was about stuff that had happened, not stuff that she was doing or was going to happen. But it was deeply unsettling for me, who was a paranoid lunatic to begin with. Right. And she was probably largely the reason why I just started doing my blanket thing. If I can't see you, you're doing everything. No. Yeah, man. Sir Mix-a-Lot in my head more often than I'd like to think. Yeah, look at my Twitter feed. I put it out there, and it's a lengthy article. And of course, you start to see what people are worried about. This was not the American press. That means all of MMA press failed. MMA press is like this little niche anyway. They all failed. But also this charm offensive that these guys are doing at the behest of Ari Emanuel and of course, the Ellisons. Completely, there's no mention of this in the American press. This is CNBC. It's Canadian, and it's a long article too, and it's from multiple women. And it indicts his team, is saying you can't go public with this. It'll change his. Yes, he said he's a dry drunk, just like George W. Bush. These guys who have been deep into the sauce, and then they have these life-changing events, and they get out of the sauce. They don't drink, but they're still strange. Yeah. So this is the first mine that's been stepped on, because all this bullshit about Johnny Boney Joni is unreliable. Listen. Let me tell you something: the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. All is heat and light behind Poatan, and at the 11th hour, bang. But of course, bang, got a guy who beats and kicks his wife, who's the CEO. Bang, Gable Stevenson, rapist. Bang, 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 bang. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Greg Hardy, unforced error. What do you bring that guy in for? 25 pounds overweight, knocked out in his last fight. He's a bum, always been a bum. BJ Penn, the list goes on and on. The list goes on and fucking on. So like I put in the Twitter feed, it's not a bug, it's a feature. What are you going to do about this? What can you do about this? Oh, he's playing at the White House. He's fighting at the White House. With whose attendance? An adjudicated fucking rapist as the president. Ultimately, look, there's this woman I was with. At one point, we were living together. She was like, I'm going to leave. I was like, look, don't leave. This is ridiculous. We could work this out. And I actually, against type, pled for her to stay, and she stayed. She stayed until the night I said, you got to move out, because a couple of years later, I couldn't take it. Yeah, it's the Stanley Cup. It's a bunch of other things. I mean, we'll all read about what happened the next day, but this is not 7 fights on a Sunday. I'm going to sacrifice my time. The UFC has said they don't care about me. They've clearly said they don't care about me. I don't know the political affiliations of anybody in boxing, but I know them about the UFC. I sure as fuck know them about the UFC. So, okay, Topuria and Gaethje, not buying the Wolf tickets. Oh, he shoved me. He's talking about my wife. He's talking about my father. Universal sign a jerk and all. I expect Topuria will win. If he doesn't, on the GINS, the John Nash scale of significance, what does that mean to me at this point? Nothing. Poatan and Gan wins. He's still been beaten by Johnny Boney Joni. He's still got to fight Aspinall. Aspinall seems to be on the outs. Poatan wins, and you've got a net negative with this whole fucking rape story, which congeals nicely with the rape story that's in part of the White House right now. Yeah, the World Cup, the fucking presidential maniac made the World Cup fucking shit. Made it difficult. Kicking out refs and so on. It's like, all right, buddy, fuck you.
Thanks for joining us for yet another episode of the show that seemingly never ends, the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper. For the full show, archives, and bonus content, subscribe at showstomper.substack.com. And be sure to join us live every Sunday on the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed the Show Stomper experience, please leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. For links to more Eugene-centric content like his newsletter, other podcasts, books, socials, and options to support the show, check the post wherever you're watching or listening right now. Hey, are you still there? I'm here too. This is June. The Show Stomper is produced by me, June M. Williams of Original Designs. Thanks again for joining us this week. We'll catch you on the flip side.